Monday edition of Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN 102.5. The Game brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions. Right here, remember FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexroad and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Joe Rexroad, what's going on? How we doing?
Oh, just great. Just great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So let's just start right there. Explain to everyone what your travel day was like yesterday. It sounded like a ton of fun.
Well, it's certainly not far from alone on this. Anybody out there who's been doing any Southwest traveling, a whole bunch of flights got canceled over the weekend. I got to Nashville. So long story short, my flight was delayed. Actually, I thought there was a real good chance it was not going to happen. I was like, okay, do I start driving and just take this rental car and just keep going as far as I can go? But like a crew. So there's different reports, but I think it gets related to the vaccine mandate in the company. And so there's people who are, I guess, at the very least, like calling in sick in droves. But we had a crew who had to fly from Baltimore to Jacksonville to then get on our plane so we could go back to Nashville. So long story short, got in it. Like 11:30, 11:45 or whatever. But the thing is that the airport was absolutely packed. Obviously, it's a Southwest hub. Yeah. And so many people in that Nashville airport last night trying to get out who looked like they've been there a long time. And then you get the shuttle to the economy lot. I swear it was 2 hours before it showed up. It wasn't that long. But anyway, got to bed a little bit after 1 a.m. But to brighten the and bring the energy, I hope everybody can see this coffee mug today.
Oh, yes. The Detroit Lions.
I want to give a shout out to the finest franchise in professional sports. They are incredible. A lot of stuff happened yesterday, but you got to tip your cap to them. And in all seriousness, I do tip my cap to Dan Campbell. I don't know. It's probably not going to go well for him because he's the Lions coach. But I like that guy. How do you not like that guy?
I like him too. One of my buddies texted me yesterday as I was coming back from Cincy and said, did you have over-under 5 games for Dan Campbell breaking down in tears in the post-game press conference for the Lions head coach? And I was like, no, didn't quite have it that soon, but here we are. But yes, I do actually genuinely enjoy Dan Campbell on multiple fronts.
And do you enjoy Packers-Bengals games in Cincinnati?
Oh, man. That was a top 5 most stressful football game I've ever been to in my entire life. It was something.
I was stressed for you.
Mason Crosby. Love that guy, but man, he took about 10 years off my life yesterday. That was a field goal kicking display, the likes of which Joe Rexroad I've never seen in my life. He misses 3 field goals, including an extra point, so 4 total. And then the Bengals kicker misses 2 at the end of the game. So Crosby missed one with 2 minutes left, missed one at the buzzer in regulation, missed one in overtime, and then he finally got the game winner. That was quite something yesterday.
My goodness. Yeah, like I'm kind of, I'm obviously I was in Jacksonville, so I'm, doing Titan stuff, but I'm sort of following along here and there. I just see a tweet from you or somebody like, oh my God, related to. I liked your post game, never a doubt. I like that. Had it all on, man.
Got to keep faith. Up to 4-1 for the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams, 11 catches, 203 yards and a touchdown yesterday. It's fun to watch that guy in person. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Skyline.
A little Skyline chili. Oh yeah. It was largely a good day, I will say. Shout out to Bengals fans. Very nice people. I enjoyed Cincinnati Bengals fans. Now, having said that, Paul Brown Stadium, dump. It's not good.
You don't like it, huh?
No. It is not good. But Bengals fans, great people. Enjoyed them. Sat around a bunch of them. I would say they handled the situation quite nicely. I don't know that it was exactly 50-50 in terms of the Packers-Bengals fan split. but it was pretty close. And if it wasn't, there was a whole lot of green and gold in there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
50, no kidding.
There was a lot.
See, I would figure that with this team with Burrow, kind of coming around and stuff, that they'd have a little bit more, a little bit more presence at a big game like that. But I guess that's probably also one of those opportunities where you sell it.
Yeah.
Sell your tickets the one time to Packers fan, you might pay for the rest of the year or something. I don't know.
I will say this: if you're a Titans fan out there, one thing that you're going to have to keep your eye on in the AFC for a long time, the Burrow to Chase connection is pretty unbelievable, and it's not going anywhere. Those two are pretty darn good. And Joe Burrow, I'm here to tell you, he is going to win an NFL MVP one day, at least one. He is really good. He's a good player.
Yeah. Well, no doubt. Well, that's still a bold statement. But I mean, I can certainly I can see it. That's an interesting sort of team that you don't think about in this AFC. And they're not going to be there anytime soon. But it's one of many teams that had. I mean, the Jags do the same thing. I mean, they may screw it up. They may totally screw it up, and they probably did by hiring Urban Meyer. But Trevor Lawrence is like watching him yesterday. I didn't see anything that led me to believe he'll be anything but really good. For a long time.
Yep. Michelle Knezevic, I talked more about Kentucky football this weekend to the people of Cincinnati than I think I've ever talked about Kentucky football in my life. People are really excited up there about some Wildcat football and a domination against LSU over the weekend. Your reaction to being 6-0 for Kentucky football, and once again, 6-0 in Pigskin Pick'em as well for Michelle Knezevic. Quite the weekend for Michelle.
Guys, and my Steelers won. It was just
a big weekend for you.
It was a big weekend. Very happy, Joe. You can't see right now, but I have a shirt on right now, and it says, Kentucky is not just a basketball school. Yeah. And I wore it for you all today, and I'm so happy. And I loved Alumni Weekend / homecoming. No, it was great. It was unreal. There were a lot of LSU fans, I will say. LSU fans are great. Caroline Fenton told me. She said they're very nice. Very nice. And also, Robbie, you'll find this interesting. Met an LSU fan, huge Packers fan, but went to LSU. And I was like, so, who are you rooting for in the game? And he was like, well, Joe Burrow's the man. Like, they were rooting for the Bengals solely because of Joe Burrow. Even though they were huge Packers fans.
Well, they're not huge Packers fans. They root Joe Burrow.
But they went to LSU.
That's disrespectful.
Well,
that's what that is.
But you won, so it's
quite a
fine.
conflict.
Is that fine? No, Lexington was amazing. And guys, first time Kentucky football is 6-0 since 1950.
Yeah. Big weekend.
Was that Bear Bryant? Probably Bear Bryant.
Yeah. Now I'm scared for next Saturday in Athens.
Yeah, it could be a big one.
I'm actually scared. So
that'll be a big one. Kentucky, Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think it's going to go well for Kentucky, frankly. But great start. And if I do have to ask you this on LSU fans: are they nice to Coach Joe too?
Well, they were telling me how they want to hire Mark Stoops. They said, "Well, we think he's on the hot seat now," and I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he was like, "So, what do you think about Mark Stoops? I mean, he's going to beat us, and then maybe we'll try to hire him." I was like, "Oh, wow.
Hands off."
Also, funny story, guys. Forgot to pack my glasses and contacts, so couldn't really see the game, and I had to keep asking my friends what the score was. It was just absolutely awful. I realized I really am that blind. So.
What a weekend. Wow. No visual aid for Michelle. Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Ron texting in. Good morning. Sorry I wasn't able to talk trash to Joe before the fantasy game this week. No need, Joe. I think you're going to be 0-5 after tonight, courtesy the gridiron. This coming from Ron.
Yeah. So at this point, my radio fantasy team, I'm making a goal to match the Lions. They're their last offer under Rod Marinelli.
Yeah.
But at least I didn't even you get to the point if your fantasy team stink where you stop even doing the lineup. So I didn't even do my Titans Media League lineup, and Dalvin Cook was still in it, who of course was out, and yet I'm still going to be Glennon. So at least I got that going for me.
I also beat Brennan.
There you go.
Oh, good job. I didn't even realize that. Excellent work. So you won everything. Anything that could possibly be won, you won.
Yeah, it's a good weekend, guys. A lot of winning for me over here.
A lot of winning going on. Speaking of winning, the Titans get it done, 37-19 down in Jacksonville. Joe, it was not always pretty. It was not always fun to watch for the Titans, but at the end of the day, they get it done, 37-19. Your initial reaction to the Titans and their performance yesterday?
It was okay. I mean, it's what you should do. I think the big thing that stands out, it really is what this league's about is you got to make plays, and they made plays. So even though I thought a lot of the day was really poor defensively, I mean, you think about like that 58-yard play where half the defense has a chance to make a tackle and doesn't. And it's just again, you're talking about almost 7 yards a play, 454 total yards for the Jags, and that wasn't just like garbage time. I mean, they ran the ball 198 yards on the ground. They ran the ball with way too much ease on the Titans. There was just some, I think, some real bad linebacking in there. Some more, rough play from the secondary, but they did make plays. Harold Landry makes plays. Jefferson Simmons made a huge play. Kevin Byard, he's got the scoop and score pick double play day. So that was good. I'm very. I think that defense is very ragged, and I don't even know if it's average. And then it's about to see way more challenges than it's been seeing. And then on the other side of the ball, I did think it was a little bit better play from the offensive line after a rough start. And remember, the Jags, they got pressure in a lot of cases. The Jags sent tons of pressure.
Yep.
Now, and by the way, interesting side note on this whole thing with the Jags. I know we got to go to break soon, but Calvin, our guy who used to work with us, got to see him in the press box, and of course he is an analytics guy for the Jags, and he works with the defense. So I had a little bit of a hint that there may be a little pressure coming on Tannehill. And I tell you what, that was their game plan. Their game plan was Shaq Griffin. You were going to follow AJ Brown along all day. And he did a very good job. And then the pressure's going to come. I thought the offensive line actually did a decent job. And then obviously, you wait until the very end to get to Derrick Henry. By the way, that shot almost came true.
Yeah,
but I failed to remember that there's a fourth quarter, and eventually. But I mean, he was at 80 something. With what 6 minutes left, I think. It's like okay, and they were going to win easily. But then at that point, you're asking the defense to keep tackling them. They didn't want to anymore. So Derrick Henry, 29, 130, 3 touchdowns, blowing everyone away again in this league, and carries and rushing yards and everything. And he should be an MVP candidate.
Continues to be an absolute stud. We are off today and running here on Robbie and Rex Road. Taking your thoughts all show long on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. When we come back, we'll continue to break down and unpack the Titans win yesterday against the Jags. All that coming up next. This is Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hang out with us every weekday starting at 6 a.m. with Robbie and Rex Road.
I really am. You gotta be. I just totally am. You gotta be.
Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2.
Good participation. We have a system now, thank goodness. I had a funny moment happen.
And Stillman and Company from 2 to 6.
I have a story. Get a cupcake.
Watch live on Periscope, Twitch, and YouTube. Tune in at any time on the Game Nashville app or your home speaker. This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Indeed believes less is more. That's why they have powerful tools to help you source, screen, and hire quality people faster. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
Get a great deal on the versatile, powerful Kubota M-Series tractors and hay tools. It's everything you need to mow, rake, bale, lift, and more. And right now, you can write it off the lot and write it off your taxes. Right now, get 0 down and 0% APR for 60 months, plus save up to $3,000. Now through December 31st. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. If your mortgage rate is not in the twos, then you need to call me now. We are locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. That's right, you heard it right. Locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. Text me on my personal cell at 615-969-2257 or fill out a few pieces of information on our website, MTGRT.com. MTGRT.com is the proud sponsor of Paul Feinbaum, heard on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Yo, it's Teron Davenport here to tell you about my friends at Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and they do it all. New tires, balance, rotation, everything. Bill, a recent customer of theirs, loved the way they came to him and saved him time and money. So if you're like Bill, you like convenience, and you need some new tires, check out FreedomTireGuys.com. If you don't see the tires you like, give them a call, and they'll find them for you. Check them out today at FreedomTireGuys.com.
Nashville's rock station.
Black hole sun, won't you come? I'm inside looking on the ceiling.
Nashville's rock station, 102.9. The Buzz.
93.3 Classic Hits. The best in pop, soul, and rock and roll. Right here, right now.
We make the feel sound like feel love. We're Music City's source for soul.
This is everybody's music.
We're 102.1. Feel.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robbie and Rexroad on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
To be honest, right now, I ain't gonna lie, it's difficult. I'm glad we got the win, but for me, I expect more out of myself. I expect better out of myself. I gotta do a better job. I gotta get going.
That was Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown after the game yesterday. A 37-19 win for the Titans against Urban Meyer and the hapless Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, Jags fall to 0-5 this year. They have now lost 20. Count them, 20 consecutive games, which is the second longest losing streak in the history of the NFL. Only the expansion-era Tampa Bay Buccaneers have lost more. They lost 26 in a row. So Joe Rexroad, the Jaguars, continuing to reach for history under Urban Meyer.
Yeah, so I was on Urban Meyer duty yesterday. Interesting day. So I wrote a piece about Urban for our NFL page, and sort of followed him around. I didn't like. I unfortunately I did not have like locker room access to follow him around.
Right.
But kind of just observe the pregame, and I mean this little kid. I wrote this in the piece. This little. At the athletic.com, by the way. This little kid, Urban's coming in. Okay. First of all, he comes out alone, like no one said. The players went like, yeah. Urban comes out and basically dead silence. Like, you know how there's always fans around the tunnel, right?
Oh yeah.
Like one woman was like, woo! She was there with her kid. And when he came back in, then they do warm-ups and stuff. He mostly just stands alone. He goes over and talks to Vrabel. It's like, Pretend you like each other. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right.
Vrabel, how's your week going?
Yeah. I know. I hope he said something funny in there. Then Urban comes in, and there's this kid. I mean, he's he's 8. I tried to find this kid. You had to like go all the way up and then come back down to go to the other side of the tunnel. So I wanted to like get his name and actually interview him. And he was gone because a lot of times he's sitting wherever. And I'm looking all over. Like these people must have thought I was such a weirdo. Like I'm like all down and they're like searching. And people are like, "What are you looking at, dude?" This fool walking around with his notebook, little press pass. But anyway, this kid Urban comes in. And kid's like, I wrote this. He's like, Hey, he's like Urban Meyer. Why'd you do that last week? Oh man! And he kind of like looked around to see if anybody was laughing. And I mean, Urban didn't react. I have no idea if he heard it. I'm sure he heard it. But
how old was this kid?
Like probably 8, 9. Maybe 10. Which first of all, it's like everybody knows, even the young people of America. Of course, hey, maybe it was just a play call. I didn't like when the Bengals lost. But it did strike me like, and of course, so then the post game I actually went to Urban. I went to Urban post game, and it did strike me that the first time he's in on an actual like opposing stadium. Oh boy, will that be fun! I mean, people are going to. It's just going to be like that all year. I guess he gets London next. Who knows what that might be like? But then, like the post game, and you're watching the whole game, and he's trying to get pumped on the sideline and stuff. And it's interesting too with him, like he's very into the offense, right? Obviously, I mean, it's his offense. That's what he does. That's what he cares about. And when the Jags are on defense, he basically just sits there with a sad look, and he's like hands on his hips, like, "What's going on here?" Like after the game, I mean, first of all, the challenge by Urban was. We listened to the players. It wasn't going to work. I saw some people like that's fireable to challenge him. Okay. But it wasn't going to happen. I mean, then again, they also like needed that so badly. Like the timeout wasn't going to matter anyway. If they didn't get some break like that. But fourth and one. Trevor Lawrence doesn't get in. That was the right call. Fourth and one. From the inch line, and you sneak Lawrence. I don't think the Titans have a chance. Also, James Robinson was just tremendous. And I understand that Carlos had the power back. And it's not the personnel that was the problem on this play, because basically T.R. Tart just destroyed the play. Right. And as soon as he destroyed, so if it was James Robinson, the exact same thing happened. I don't think. I mean, James Robinson's quicker than Carlos. I don't think he gets to the edge and gets in. So, but it's still like that's your play. And then Urban after the game is like, well, you guys may sound silly, but we haven't really worked on that. He's not comfortable doing the sneak. And then like 3 minutes later, Trevor Lawrence comes in, he's like, oh yeah, we worked that. I'm comfortable. What? Just. So I don't know, man. Like, I feel like for Jacksonville fans, and I know Titans fans don't want to think about this idea of Trevor Lawrence. Having this reign over the AFC. Right now, they're easy to laugh at, and they are pushing for the creamsicle Bucks of the 70s with the all-time record of 26. But Trevor Lawrence over the Dolphins. Oh, yeah. The Dolphins QB situation.
The Dolphins are putrid. Anyway, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I agree. But Trevor Lawrence should be special. And they can be really good for Lawrence. It's just, I don't know, man. I think you called the shot that he was going to resign. I was there in case you were right. I was like, well, Robbie's right. This is going to be a hell of a press conference. I do think there's a real chance when this year's over. That's just enough. And really, that might be best. And that might be worse for Titans fans and AFC South fans who, would like don't want to see a better coach with them. I'm still also I said it last week and I'll say it again. I'm still like right now it is very easy to take shots at Urban and to laugh at him and point the finger and what a disaster it has been. Just one folly after another. I'm still not totally convinced that he will figure this out, but we'll see.
We'll see on that front. And you brought up the goal line play on fourth and goal for the Jags. It gets lost in the final score because it ends up being 37-19. I mean, that's a massive play in the game. It's 31-19 at that point, and there's over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So for the Titans to come up and make a stop there on the goal line, there are a lot of big plays in the game that you can point to, but that was a gigantic play by this Titans defense.
Well, no doubt. I mean, they were really actually kind of reeling. It's 31-13, and it's basically over. But then Jags put together a drive. And I think that was the drive of the 58-yard play. And they get in, and then the Titans mess around on offense. And you make that 31-26, 10 minutes left. It's a little bit of here we go again. And kind of like the formula from last week when the Titans gave some life to a bad team early. Then it looked like they had control of it when they're up 17-10 the Jets, and then they just all of a sudden their defense just stopped playing. Stops making plays. So for Tart to make that play was huge. And that basically ended the game. Yeah. Who knows what goes on from there? If it's 31, if it's a one-score game, the heavily favored team on the road feels pressure using that situation. So Tart, one of the many guys on D who, as rough a day as it was overall, came up with a timely play. Jeffrey Simmons, his batted pass, which I'm trying to think. Was that early fourth? I think it was.
Yeah.
That's a touchdown. I mean, I can't say for sure that Lawrence's pass is going to be accurate, but it just needed to be within anywhere within the range of Agnew, because he had absolutely burned Chris Jackson off the line, and it was wide open deep. Titans were built yesterday to not give up big plays. We're built, to make them dink and dunk, and yet you still gave up a 58-yarder, and you were right there to give up a huge, easy touchdown pass. But Jeffrey Simmons made a play.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans when we come back on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025, including why apparently the Titans might have an absolute stud on the defensive side of the ball. We'll get to that coming up next. This is Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yossi from the circle. He scores! Roman Yossi scores in overtime.
Thursday night, Roman Yossi and the Predators begin their season on home ice against the Seattle Kraken. Pregame at 6, face-off at 7 on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you missed the latest edition of the Preds official podcast.
Well, Elliot, talking about being excited to play and everybody being back together, I'm curious of what you make of Nashville's offseason. I mean, we know General Manager David Poile is not afraid to ever make moves, and as we saw this offseason, he made some big ones.
Yeah, I mean, the Ryan Ellis one, that was a big one, no question about it. There were some rumblings that could happen last year. And I just remember the first time I heard the possibility that Ellis's name could go, it really blew me away. Just because I think he's an example of everything that Nashville's done right. There's players you want to give up, and there's players you have to give up because that's the only thing where you can get a meaningful return. And I think that's kind of what happened with Ryan Ellis.
Search Preds official podcast today on your favorite podcast platform. The newest edition releases every Saturday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and NashvillePredators.com. If you missed the latest edition of the Preds official podcast.
Well, Elliot, talking about being excited to play and everybody being back together, I'm curious of what you make of Nashville's offseason. I mean, we know General Manager David Poile is not afraid to ever make moves, and as we saw this offseason, he made some big ones.
Yeah, I mean, the Ryan Ellis one, that was a big one, no question about it. There were some rumblings that could happen last year. And I just remember the first time I heard the possibility that Ellis's name could go, it really blew me away, just because I think he's an example of everything that Nashville's done right. There's players you want to give up, and there's players you have to give up because that's the only thing where you can get a meaningful return. And I think that's kind of what happened with Ryan Ellis.
Search Pred's official podcast today on your favorite podcast platform. The newest edition releases every Saturday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and NashvillePredators.com.
Barlines and the Omni Hotel, one of Nashville's favorite downtown destinations, gets raving reviews from the locals. Live music, great food, and a favorite spot to watch your Nashville Predators on any of the 22 big screen TVs. And great food is an understatement. How about award-winning hot wings, Nashville hot chicken sandwiches, smoked brisket tacos, and in-house homemade pimento cheese sandwiches? Barlines, an official Predators preferred watch party location, 1 block from Bridgestone in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Tonight.
Swing and a drive. Deep left field. This is way back. Chris Taylor.
The rivalry series between the San Francisco Giants and Los Angeles Dodgers heats up for Game 3 in Hollywood. Coverage begins at 8
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Sports stars this Saturday by running, walking, or boogieing in the Nashville Striders' 21st annual Shelby Bottoms Boogie 15K and 5K Run Walk at Shelby Bottoms Park. This event is perfect for the avid runner as well as the casual jogger, and you can also show your support and participate virtually. For more information, visit starsnashville.org. Welcome back in, Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Robbie and Rex Road brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Remember, FDIC, equal housing lender. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Drew texting in. Good bounce back by the boys. Glad to get the W, but man, it's going to be rough Monday night. Buffalo looks flawless, and it could be rough on us. However, we rise up to the occasion in these games, and I hope we can again. Keep up the good work, fellas. Drew, we appreciate you listening. Buffalo looks pretty good. We'll have a lot, obviously a long time to talk about the Buffalo game before the Monday night matchup comes up, but they look awfully impressive so far, Joe Rexroad. Titans are going to have to play their best game in order to beat the Bills.
Yeah, I do at some point. I watch last. That's one good thing. Hey, if you're forced to travel to the wee hours of the morning and get the game on the Southwest app, to watch that game. And I will say that I saw a lot of reaction like, oh my gosh, the Bills are flat out the best in the NFC. They might be. I do think that last night was also another red flag on the Chiefs, and I don't know how much of both things it is. I mean,
they don't look very good.
They don't look very good. Their defense right now. Of course, you take Chris Jones out that defense. He's a huge part of that defense. But they don't look very good. Now that looked really bad with Edwards-Helaire too.
Yep.
With the knee injury late, and teams are figuring out ways to take away Tyreek Hill. And also the pressure. That's the thing. The Chiefs did so much of their offensive line. The Bills were just all over Mahomes. And I do think the Bills are better defensively. I wrote a very negative column today about the Titans. after my Urban Meyer column, that they're not ready for this stretch. They are not a very good football team right now, basically. And of course, the Titans can't think about the stretch. We'll talk about the stretch. Bills, Colts, Rams, Chiefs, right? They can't think that way. They won't think that way. The toughest of them right now looks like this very next one. But look, if the Jets can beat the Titans, the Titans could come out on a home game on Monday night and ambush the Bills. Just right now, it looks like a mismatch.
It does, but one guy that could be a big weapon for the Titans as they move ahead here is Harold Landry, and he continues to play extremely well for this team. 7 tackles yesterday, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. Joe Rexroad, this is I think the best we've ever seen Harold Landry play by far, and man, does Harold Landry look really good right now on the defensive side of the ball for the Titans. It's a good time for him to be playing this well for him, given what that could mean for his next contract. But, man, Harold Landry has been an absolute stud so far this year for the Titans, and I did not really expect to see that, especially given that Bud Dupree has not really been a factor at all so far.
Right. Exactly. I mean, how much have we been talking about? Well, what would Harold Landry, what would things look like for him if there was a problem player for the opposition on the other side, which Clowney was supposed to be, and Bud Dupree was supposed to be. Dupree may yet be. But right now, it's Ola Adeni, who has sort of faded here after that tremendous start. I mean, he's good enough to play. To be out there and contribute. Now they signed John Simon. That hasn't mattered. And I do wonder. Actually, I asked Ryan Crow, I guess it was last week, about the O-line. Outside linebackers coach. It was interesting that they did this thing in camp with Harold Landry, where it's like, let's not use that outside speed move. You can use anything else, but you're not allowed to use that. I thought that was an interesting approach. Is that paying off? He said last week, yes and no. You don't want to. I mean, ultimately, you got to give credit to Landry for just being relentless. That's what it. To me, it still looks like a lot of the same move. It's just working. And I do think that like the speed, the power stuff with him has gotten better and better. And you're talking 4.5 sacks. In 5 games for a guy who had 4.5 all of last year. So it's good to see him rewarded. Trevor Lawrence can move pretty well, and twice he just did not let him get away yesterday. And those are two big sacks too. I think 17 total yards and losses. Of course, Titans also got caught with their personnel and a touchdown. Landry is. Rashaan Evans is rushing, and Landry is trying to cover a tight end on this long crossing route, and that 4th and 1.
Yeah,
which you can question that play call, but I mean, actually, it was pretty crafty of the Jags come out, spread out, go empty against a jumbo D, and perfect pass and easy touchdown. So that's on more on the Titans coaches. But Landry himself just having a heck of a season, and boy, do they need that.
Well, they do, and you brought up the 4.5 sacks in 5 games, and obviously that's really good, and that's a great pace for the Titans to be on. But, I mean, you can take it a step further than that. He's got 10 quarterback hits so far through 5 games, and the pressures that he's been able to put together, he has been one of the best players in the NFL in terms of the pressure that he's been able to generate so far this season. So Harold Landry, not just with the sack numbers, because obviously that's the first thing we look at, and the sack numbers are really good, but the QB hits and the pressures that he's been able to generate so far, really impressive. And like I said, didn't really expect to see that out of Harold Landry. But if he keeps this up, that's obviously really good news for this Titans defense, who I think still, as you pointed out, they're struggling at times, even with Harold Landry on the field and playing the way that he is. But if he can keep this up, and at some point Bud Dupree's back in there and is healthy, maybe, for the first time in a long time, you have a legitimate pass rush at both outside linebacker spots. And we'll see what that can do for the overall, I guess, transformation of this Titans defense. But not just the sack numbers with Harold Landry. He's playing well, really in all facets of the game right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And they need it. They need that to help the secondary. Overall, it has been better, certainly. And the third down front, for as bad as a lot of the numbers looked yesterday, Jags are 3 for 10 on third down. So Titans did get off the field. 70% of the time you'll take that every game. And overall, those numbers are better. Landry played. He did not play every snap, by the way.
Only 92%.
There you go. 92% of the snaps, 65 of the snaps. Danny plays 23. John Simon plays 19, but they also do different things with Autry. They're doing different things to compensate. This also brings up an interesting situation for John Robinson because I could see the case made for, maybe you should really try to, if this is what he's going to be, and at the end of it, he's sitting there with like 12 sacks. That's someone who maybe you would have liked to have locked up, right? Yeah. Before that gets there. So I'd be interested to know, if John Robinson is considering trying to work on something and lock him up, or if he's just going to go to the market, because he could be all of a sudden a much more coveted player. I think with film, with GMs around the league, and scouts around the league, sure there's a lot of respect already for Landry as a good player, and someone durability is such an asset in this league. And as we're seeing with the Titans, it almost seems rare, especially on certain teams. But good player, durable, great effort, all that stuff. Like you want him in your locker room, but okay, you get that to double-digit sack guy, that's a totally different conversation now.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe from Maryland texting in. What do you make of him having this season in a contract year? It would have been nice to see this early on so we had some clarity about who he really is, because I don't know if you can sign Landry to a big contract. This is coming from Joe in Maryland.
Well, I'll say this. Look. I think it's a human nature thing, isn't it? That you got the pressures on, and you got to find everything you can to whatever it is to get the big payday, to stay in the league. I mean, Rashad Evans is in a different type of situation right now. He's struggling, and I don't know what the interest in him would be around the league at this point. So yeah, of course. In pro sports, a lot of times you see players have great years in contract years, and it's not a coincidence. But I'll say this for Landry, the effort and the want to and the coming to work every day and busting, that's been there. Sometimes you figure things out, and you just get better. And he must have had a very good offseason. I just mentioned like the Ryan Crow stuff. Try to work on other moves. It's not. I think we've talked about this before a million times. It's one of my little soapbox things. Like people can get better when they're professional athletes. They can improve. They can figure things out. Derrick Henry is a totally different player right now. I know he won the Heisman, and he had great moments, and he had the speed and power and all that all along. He is a totally different player right now than he was his first 2.5 years in the NFL. He's figured some things out, and there's technical things, there's nuances. There's a lot of things where you can improve. You're allowed to improve. And I think that's also part. It's not just like Harold Landry decided to start playing hard contract year. I think he's just coming into his own. But it is a great question on then what is it worth to you to keep him? I would say it'd be good to have some good players on defense and some players you drafted that get a second deal. I think that's a sign of a well-built team. But I also understand you can't pay everybody. Right now he's making a bid to be paid.
I don't think there's any question about that. Coming up next, there was a glaring problem with the Titans on the defensive side of the ball yesterday that, to me, is a pretty big concern moving forward. We'll get to that coming up next. This is Robbie and Rexroad here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Partly cloudy and breezy this afternoon. High temperature up to 82 degrees. Scattered storms will be possible this afternoon and evening, and initially a few of those could be on the strong side.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Clean, and Electrical.
It's football season, and Social Furniture has the best lifetime guaranteed motion furniture on sale now. Their sofas with recliners are push-button electric and wall-away with all colors to choose from for your comfort. Sectionals from $9.99, recliners from $3.99. Sectionals with chase lounge and all-electric recliners from $19.99. Social Furniture will have you football ready with all furniture that are plus leather, microfiber, and Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There are just 2 regular season home matches remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. against the Columbus Crew. Or catch the last regular season match of the season on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now for just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
We blow the doors off of every long-held kept industry secret, every secret that other stores don't want you to know. At Genesis, we're excited to share with you.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper talking about how Genesis reveals all of the long-held secrets of the jewelry industry.
We love being completely transparent. We teach you the things other stores do not want you to know. We make you a really dangerous customer for every other store in town.
So before you buy a diamond anywhere, come get the real scoop on diamonds at Genesis. You have nothing to lose.
Nothing gives us more pleasure than to teach every person that comes in, not just about diamonds, but how to buy diamonds like a professional.
Genesis Diamonds, teaching you to maximize value and get her the biggest, highest quality diamond at a no-nonsense price.
It's that light that goes off in my guests' eyes when they have that aha moment, when they not only see the difference at Genesis Diamonds, but they can feel it.
Genesis Diamonds, voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring year after year. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Darren McFarland, that should get you in the mood for a game tonight. Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCain.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curation CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Robbie and Rex Road on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Last week after the loss to the Jets.
Attitude of the meeting. That was the theme of the week. The Tennessee Titans.
Lawrence to the end zone. Intercepted by Byard. And he'll just roll around and run out the clock. And the Tennessee Titans have come to Jacksonville to win it 37-10.
That was the Kevin Byard interception to end the game yesterday for the Titans. The final 37-19 for the Titans against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans improved to 3-2 and now staring down the barrel of Buffalo, Kansas City, Indianapolis, and the LA Rams coming up. So this is the meat of the schedule for the Titans. Got a lot of big football games coming up. Joe Rexrode, you mentioned something earlier defensively that I was watching yesterday as I'm coming back from Cincinnati that just stood out to me that I think is pretty concerning as they move ahead here, and that is what exactly are they going to do at linebacker? I thought David Long, I mean, for the most part, he's been pretty good this year, but there are two plays in particular that stand out to me from Rashaan Evans yesterday, and, you know, it's a handoff to James Robinson on the goal line, and Rashaan Evans just completely guesses and jumps over the line of scrimmage and is nowhere to be found where the gap is actually going for James Robinson. And then on Robinson's 58-yard run, he just takes the complete wrong gap, and Robinson's gone for 58 yards. And I came away from those two plays, Joe, just thinking, like, all right, Rashaan Evans is very gifted athletically. We've seen him have some really good instinctual plays, particularly on the goal line so far in his career. But it just looks like he's out there just totally guessing at this point, and that burned the Titans a couple of times yesterday. Not very good from Rashaan Evans on that side of the ball yesterday in Jacksonville.
No, and I mean, that drive. Clearly, the Jaguars saw something. They just said, you know what, we're going to run this way and have a lot of success. And they, Kevin Byard, actually the best play Byard made all day. I mean, first of all, I hope he went to Lawrence and said, thanks for the pick. And the last play of the game, threw it right to him. Appreciate it. Got the touchdown, which was a great play, by the way, by Elijah Molden. We haven't talked about him yet, but I thought it was very good to see him back on the field, having a chance to make some mistakes, because he's also going to make some plays. The best play Byard made was chasing Robinson down from behind. Yeah. Save a touchdown. Then ends up Matt Marin. They just say, okay, we'll just hand off 3 more times in a row, and we'll score on you. And Evans is a part of that. And that position is kind of a sneaky problem. We think so much about what's going on with the secondary, or they get any pass rush. But you can't let a team run on you like that. And I think a lot of that is at the second level. David Long made some clear mistakes too yesterday. David Long makes plays, and he's going to be an important guy. You got Jayon Brown now is on IR. That's not good. Monty Evans got hurt yesterday, had to leave, and I forget what his injury was, because there's 18,000 injuries on the team right now. But Monty Rice comes in for him, seems to be doing fine. And that may be next year's linebacking interior, by the way. Monty Rice and David Long, but then he gets hurt.
I think Evans was a quad, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So he was able to come back. Look, the bottom line is for the foreseeable future here. I mean, it's going to be him as long as he's healthy, and it's going to be David Long next to him. And Rashaan Evans simply has to get better. Especially, I mean, look. Sometimes you take the wrong gap. You get caught up in the wash. You get blocked. This happens. I think it happens too much to them. And the play you're talking about, I just can't imagine that that's what he was supposed to do. Just leap over the pile and take himself out of the play. Because if he reads the play and tracks Robinson, he may have. I mean, he's got the physical ability to make plays, and he does still make plays. Like on that play, if he does what I think you're supposed to do, it's possible that he gets enough push to keep him out of there.
I mean, if you go back and watch the play, it's a pretty hilarious kind of breakdown of, it's a good job guessing the snap count. Jumping over the line of scrimmage, some good athleticism by Rashaan Evans on that play. It's just you see Robinson get the ball and walk into the end zone, and then on the other frame, Rashaan Evans is flipping over the line of scrimmage, nowhere near the ball carrier. Impressive stuff other than that, though. Way to go, Rashaan.
Well, one thing is we've talked about this with him before. In space, he struggles in coverage and things like that, but in short yardage on the goal line or just like in a 4th and 1 or something. A lot of times that guy is, it's like wow, look at him blow that up. How many times has he done that? But I don't know. Was that always just guessing? I mean, there's a certain amount of guessing sometimes. Sure. That play just that looked just weird. And that's tough. Now you look at the overall picture of the defense. Fulton. Man, you do not want that guy to get hurt. I mean, he's had the ankle, and yesterday they reported it was a hamstring. I mean, how many hamstrings can one team have? Jeez. And he walked off very gingerly. He was down for a while. He walked off gingerly. So that's bad news for this team if Fulton is going to miss any time. Caleb Farley did get out there. So the first and second round pick were active yesterday, everybody. Sound get the parade lined up. Dylan Radin still could not come off the bench. Corey Levin, guy they cut him and they just brought him back, and they feel better about him going in there at left guard than Dylan Radin. So Radin's is, I guess, the very bottom of the depth chart of whatever position he might play. But Farley was out there, and he may end up becoming an important figure here, especially in the near term. If Fulton is banged up, I mean, it's got to be. I think. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, they obviously have Breon Borders as well, but I would think that Farley would have to be ready to have a bigger role.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Ron texting in. The Titans should have gone after Jalen Smith. Well,
we talked about it last week.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
That's true. We don't know. Well, and that's when he became available. I did say, like, I don't know. Does he fit? Can he help on the edge? I mean, he's one of those guys who, like phenomenal athlete, also very serious injuries that threaten his career. But for next year.
Yeah.
What's it look like? I think that certainly John Brown and Rashaan Evans are probably in different cities next year. So all of a sudden you're like, is Monty Rice ready? And then what about after that? So from that perspective, maybe they should have. Like you said, maybe they did, but they don't have them. So a lot of stuff to figure out there.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dustin from Hopkinsville texting in. With 21 or 23 injuries, a subpar wide receiving group, I'm really happy to be where we are. Minus a key game we should have won with the Jets. We truly don't know this Titan ceiling until they get healthy. Just have to get some guys back and get through it. One upside, we're banged up at the beginning of the season, not heading into the playoffs. Titan fan through and through. It's bad right now, but it could be worse. So Dustin weighing in after the 3-2 start for the Titans, saying the injuries, everything factoring in. He's happy to be where he is right now, or where this team is, given everything that's going on.
Well, I mean, look, I think that's reasonable. It's an optimistic view, but the injuries are crazy. I guess my question is, are we sure that it's going to get better? Because first of all, we know some of the key guys on this team had serious injuries and were brought in. We know this.
Oh yeah.
But also, I will say on the A.J. Brown front yesterday, I thought he looked pretty good. Now, Shaq Griffin did a great job on him. And A.J. Brown expressed some frustration after the game. Basically, I got to get going. But that was a good sign on the hamstring front with him. Hamstrings are just this many. Who knows how that'll turn out? We did see another guy we haven't talked about on the health front who again. This valid. I feel like there's a little bit of validation here. I know I wasn't the only one. Marcus Johnson is a player. Marcus Johnson can play, man. Marcus Johnson is going to really help this team. He and Tannehill built great chemistry. And they talked about that after the game yesterday. And if you consider him with Julio Jones, with A.J. Brown, it's an imposing offense still. If the offensive line can gel and figure it out, I still think the offense can be what we've talked about. I just don't know the defense. And in the Bud Dupree, huge part of that. Other than Bud Dupree, what else about this defense can make big strides here?
I mean, the only other thing I can really think of is if somehow Caleb Farley puts it all together in the second half of the season and starts to look more like the player you drafted. But that, at this point, with the role that he's been in and the injuries that he's dealt with, I don't have a ton of confidence that by the season's end, Caleb Farley is going to be some lockdown corner out there.
I do have one more, and another thing we haven't talked about yet as we finish the hour. Amani Hooker could help a lot. Amani Hooker would be a very important return. Again, he started to work last week, so he's a guy to watch this week. And boy, could they use Hooker for the games to come. The Bills and Chiefs next. Yeah. Because Dan Cruikshank,
he was awful yesterday.
Yeah, he made way too many mistakes out there. It's a big step down from Hooker to Cruikshank. So that is one area because Byard's playing well. If you had someone that he worked for a long time, build chemistry with, and they have a good thing going back there, that could certainly make a difference. So Dupree and Hooker. That is a reason for hope right now. That it can get better. There's still a lot of issues beyond that, of course.
Cruikshank, by his own admission yesterday, not very good. On Twitter last night says, quote, played and tackled terrible today. I'll clean it up. I don't care who believes in me. I believe in me. Hashtag on to the next one. This coming from Dane Cruikshank yesterday. Not a great day for him. And look, he wasn't alone on this one play, but it is kind of interesting. The Chenault reception that turned into a 58-yarder where there was like the entire Titans defense standing around him. Cruikshank was a part of that. And, God, was that ugly to watch.
He was. I mean, that's the thing is they've had these communication issues and stuff, and they've given up the. I think they've given up now 6 plays of 40+. Only the Chiefs are worse, right? Yep. But that was TD through that last night after watching the Chiefs game. I think they gave up 2. But yeah, that play right there. Actually, I believe Byard was one of them as well. So both safeties had a shot. Rashaan Evans is in there. David Long. So both inside linebackers, both safeties all had a shot right there, and they all whiffed. That was ugly. And it's just things like that. You do that a couple times against the teams coming up, and you don't overcome it.
What do we think of the Titans offensively yesterday, including the protection of the offensive line, which was a big talking point heading into this game? We'll get to all that coming up next. This is Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The biggest game of Week 5 is tonight's matchup between the Colts and the Ravens. And FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. This means that you can end the NFL week right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. I feel really good about the Ravens to knock off the Colts. I love the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's America's #1 rated sportsbook app, and it's my official sportsbook app. It's easy to use, safe and secure, and they've got fast payouts. And when you win, you'll pay as little as 24 hours. Just sign up promo code JGM this week before Indianapolis takes on Baltimore, and you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember, that's promo code JGM so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present Tennessee. Users only $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users will site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem. Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
It's not just about being in your community. It's about being your community. Come experience the all-new state-of-the-art Volunteer State Bank, second Murfreesboro location at 2019 Memorial Boulevard. Volunteer State Bank offers personalized services like banking for professionals, free CASAS checking, the convenience of mobile banking, and the money you need when you need it. Visit one of our 13 locations or online at allstatebank.com. Real people, real solutions, right here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Zines First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
The wait is over. The live event you've been waiting for is here. Zach Brown Band, live. The Comeback Tour, this Sunday night, Bridgestone Arena. The multi-platinum, Grammy Award-winning Zach Brown Band with special guests Devin Dawson and Ashlyn Kraft. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Zach Brown Band. Buy tickets at livenation.com.
Sports talk, home of our Nashville Predators. WBUZ-HD2 online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Robbie and Rexroad with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 2 of Robbie and Rexroad here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer